Welcome. You are locked in right now with Mushin Karate, with myself, Jamar, and the 30th co-host, the gaffer, Mr. Gavindbailey. What are you telling them?
Well, I felt like that intro needed some flames or some fire, some Charlie Sloth.
Yeah, some bombs or something.
But, I'm here, I'm glad to be a part of the project and a part of the movement. It's about bringing the stats to the fans, and there's a deeper level to performance.
Yeah.
That's what we're here to unearth. So, just happy to be here, be able to share my knowledge and my experiences.
100. So let's get this cracking from the jump. This is going to be a more kind of introductory episode for our viewers and listeners to kind of explain what we're doing here. So essentially, Mushin is a team, a platform where we come together to speak about elite level karate, predominantly WKF style karate, but martial arts as a whole. The database that we have collated is based around athletes that are ranked within the top 10 WKF rankings. Obviously, athletes, they tend to drop in and out. This has been taken, I would say, from the last 2 years, 2019. So once you come into the database, you're in, but obviously you have to make the ranking to come in, if that makes sense. So all of the averages that we have, like everything is based around the athletes that are ranked in the top 10. In addition to that, let's talk about, so I guess the beginning episodes that we'll be releasing are all kind of geared towards Olympic qualification right now, because that is kind of what's happening at the moment.
Yeah, and I think it's been a tough year, obviously, COVID and the pandemic and stuff hit, and all of these athletes were gearing up for a massive summer Olympics, and then all of a sudden it's taken away from you. How do you keep motivated? How do you keep on this path? As we know, athletes have a window where they're at their best performing top, but how are they sustaining it? And once we get into the data on some of these athletes, you'll find out some amazing stats that consistency is key, and that's what's going to keep these names in people's thoughts. And I think the WKF obviously has revised its system in line with the IOC to make sure it's fair, because towards the end of 2020 they didn't finish the events for qualification, so a lot of athletes were on the cusp of getting that golden ticket, if you want to be saying, I'm an Olympic athlete, and then all of a sudden it's been halted. And obviously the emotional tale that goes with that, but it's about staying strong and staying committed. And I think from what I've seen and researched, we've got 2 events left, possibly. Again, COVID permitted. I think the world is dealing a lot better with the pandemic now, so hopefully, I know France have done 1 or 2 competitions, test events. I know I've seen a few other countries like Luxembourg and Belgium invite people over and do little test matches just to get some sort of real buzz, because we both competed, we know what it's like to turn up, weigh in and go to work on that tatami, and then to have that stripped for a year where you can't even do contact, which is your main thing, it's tough.
Yeah.
So they're gearing up to get back, and the IOC's revised document allows for another K1. So again, everyone who's not in Europe will have had their continental championship, so that's done for them. But Europe's still got one, and it's got a K1. So for those European athletes that are in the top 10 and still have a chance with a good performance at these events to make that top 4 automatic qualification, this is what they're geared towards. And I think these stats will kind of show you that maybe some ones to look for in these competitions if they do go ahead, and always the ones who might not even turn up, because you'll be expecting to see a big name, but if he's already got the points that he needs and he's not in danger, why risk that kind of exposure?
Yeah, cool. How would you go about explaining the process of qualification for maybe like a layman, or maybe for any audience or listeners that we have that are maybe new to the sport that aren't 100% sure of that process?
Okay, yeah, it's pretty straightforward. A regular sort of world championship European cycle, all the events have 5 weight sections for males and 5 for females, whereas in the Olympic events, because this is only selected sport for the 2021 was 2020 Olympics, the qualification is only in 3 sections. So from 5 weights they've cut it to 3, which means your 2 lightweights will combine to make 1 section, your middleweight stands alone, and then your 2 heavier weights will combine to make 1 section. So the IOC and the WKF got together to release a program of events that are qualifying events. So they contribute points that contribute towards qualification. The qualification is 2-fold, automatic, and then a qualification tournament. Also, there's a quota for the host country to have an athlete in each section. And then there's a sort of a wild card phase. And again, that is a bit dependent on the results of the previous sort of 3 or 4 prior rankings. So as we proceeded through 2019 and 2020, the start of it, that's where the bulk of the points were gained. There's more points for your European or your continental championships. Obviously, there's a lot of points in the world championships because that's where everyone's together. And then you have your K1s and your K1As, which contribute an amount of points towards it. Within the sections, you can only have one athlete per country represent in that section. So, for instance, in the lighter weight category for males, let's say the 60 and 67 combined, you couldn't have 2 French athletes qualify. Similarly, it would be the highest ranked or the person with the most points from that section. So if the minus 60 fighter from France had more points than the minus 67 fighter from France, but there was 2 other minus 60s ahead of him, he wouldn't qualify and it would be the 67. So again, it's very much how well are you doing in your section, as in your regular weight section, but then how are you considered with your grouped Olympic weight sections. So as I said before, go to the event, produce results, consistency, and you'll see your name raised to the ranking. The Sport Data does an excellent job of updating it monthly so that you can see where you're at. The ones in the Olympic qualification will be highlighted in green. Again, and for the person who's looking in, it might not be as obvious when you've got 2 athletes at the top of the same country, one's not green, one is. Again, it's down to the highest ranked person from that sort of semi-weight section. So yeah, that's really it, to be honest. If you do have a look, I'm sure there'll be some overlays and we can drop some visuals, and you'll see that a lot of the sections, there are runaway leaders. So there are people who have been consistent. They might not go to every event, but when they go, their percentage of medals or their percentage of podiums or percentage of finals is so high, it's almost a nailed on. You see them on that draw and you think, all right, yeah, let me pot his path all the way to the end of that path. And then for the rest, unfortunately, you've still got to think about that repechage, because obviously going through the system to get in that bronze medal is still a load of points. And again, you've got thousands of people across the world trying to get that 5 rings and get to the Olympics and say I'm an Olympic athlete. It's enough of a push to try and topple these runaways. Obviously, they're consistent, but everyone's prone to a bad day. So if you can be the guy who takes down a great on a day, again, that boosts your profile in the sport, it boosts your ranking, and then people will start to consider you in a different light. But again, it's all down to stats, and I think through my journey, I've seen stats, they don't lie. And when you see some names might be missed from what we talk about, and some names are going to be there evidently, and you can see, well, different factors, consistency, age, maybe weight class, some people go up and down. It's a big issue. Yeah,
no, that's a very good breakdown. Thank you for that. Do you know what? I had some quick fire questions for you, and I wrote them down somewhere, but I can't remember where I wrote them. So I think I can remember like 5 at the top of my head. Yeah.
Shoot, man,
you ready? Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, let's go. Akar or Al?
Al. You know,
Al, yeah, my guy. Yeah. Cool. Spinning Irma wash, double leg sweep.
Double leg sweep.
Kazamizuki, Gyakuzuki, Chudan.
Gyakuzuki,
Chudan, yeah.
That's the original OG technique.
Would you rather win a continental championship, so European championships, or the Paris Open?
European championship.
Is it so quick? You answered that.
European championships. I think it's a process, and you've got to be best in your country, and then it's a long road to that. The Paris Open.
But you know, with the Paris Open though, yeah, it's like the Paris Open kickstarts the year, innit? I feel like if you can make a final of a Paris Open, you can make a final of a World Championships. Fact.
Yeah,
if more time, it's more difficult. Like, look at the rounds that you're putting in at a Paris Open. Sometimes you see a man get through 7-8 rounds. Like,
we've seen it, and it's consistently. But I think it's like when you win a Paris Open, again, you have to be consistent on the day. Every round is going to be a hard round. You've got a small margin for error per fight. You've got to be in tip-top condition. And again, that being in January per se, very difficult. Christmas break and all of that is very difficult. If that's what you want, that's true. Europeans are generally around May, so you've got time to kind of chill down and spend some family time if you need that over Christmas. And then again, Paris Open is probably your first out there to see what everyone's doing, and then you can ramp it up. Qualify obviously through your processes in your country to represent your country, and then when you get to that Europeans and you're looking around and you know that okay, there's not many men here and I need to perform, and then you get through and you get through and you get through, and then you win, and then it's like forever a European title will hold some weight in your heart. Again, Paris Opens and all the K1s, they hold weight because for the guy who knows, he knows how hard it is. But when you go out to someone who doesn't know anything and you slap down, European champion, they think, oh yeah, this guy's the bee's knees.
That's true. That's very true.
And I suppose it's what you want. Is it if you want internal recognition, or is it that global recognition? Because I can go to a man who does fencing and say, listen, I'm a European champion of karate, and he'll take me. If I tell him I won the Paris Open, I kind of got to explain that. And then even then, he might not get how difficult it is when I'm explaining. So I think for me, that's why.
Or even just the legacy behind the
Paris Open. Or the greats that have won it, and the amount of times I'm sure we've been there together, we've been there, and we've seen great fighters do great things. Yeah. I reckon you see more great things at a Paris Open than you do at a Europeans.
Should you say some of the maddest performances that I've seen have been at Paris Open?
Yeah. Do you remember the Wascal competition that used to be the week before? That's what I'm saying. You see a madness there. As well. But all I'm saying is that is all part of the Paris Open package.
And that was a stiff madness as well. That's brothers getting licked down.
That was like a dungeon. Like you go in there and it's battle of the fittest, and you know by the time you get to Paris Open the next week, it's about cleaning up. But if you want to just go for a real tear up, that Wascal. Again, their categories then were kind of the Olympic weights in it. So it was your real test.
True.
Have you got what it takes in your heart? Because obviously the refereeing is a bit more lenient there, I would say, per se. They let a lot more things go than when you go to the Paris Open. So, but Europeans all day.
Cool. Well, thank you for that. So we're gonna look off this episode again. It was an introductory kind of brief explanation to what we're doing here. Please get involved in the comments. You know, we're trying to build a community here of just passionate people that are willing to share their opinions and views. So comment when you feel for it. Please like the video and of course subscribe as well.
Come on, you gotta like and subscribe. And like you say, it's passion of karate in it. I'm sure they can hear it and they can see it. And it's about definitely. If there's topics or things that they want us to go into, just drop it in the comments. We read the comments, we reply to the comments. It's about building like you say, a community. And a love. And I think that's what keeps the sport. Where it is, and it's that love for that Kazami Gak or that Gak. You know, when you open man up, boom, like, mate, so excited.
You're easy. You're ready to go.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
You're gassing me. Cool. Well, thank you for listening. And again, like G just said, like, comment, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And we hope to lock in with you again soon.
Love.
Bow. And just a disclaimer also, you know, we're going to apologize in advance because we're definitely about to mispronounce several names we're going to mispronounce, you know, but it's a process and we're hoping to get better, you know. I feel like the English language is quite limited, like phonetically. There's a lot of actual phonetics that we don't use in the English language. So, you know, you have to bear with us, and we will get better with pronouncing the names, you know. But, you know, anyone ranked in the top 10, if you want to help out, feel free to just send the Mushin account a little voice note or just literally you saying your name, and, you know, we'll just practice that.
It's all love,
Get me?
If we're saying the name, that means we love you, first of all.
Yeah, 100.
So, just take that as a little bit of a pinch of salt, and obviously, like Jamal said, we're just going to try our best, and that's what we can do. Yeah. But we'll get there.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, man. Wow.